Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Licensing Committee, 22nd of October 2024. May I remind you, as usual, to use your microphones when speaking, as the meeting is being webcast, and speak into the microphone as well, please. And we'll start with the first item on the agenda. Do we have any apologies for absence?
No apologies, Chair.
Item 2, we've got the minutes of the Licensing Committee, 10th of July 2024, on pages 7 to 13. Are you content for me to sign these minutes or any amendments? Have you got any amendments? Could I have a proposer, please? Thank you, Councillor Townsend. And a seconder? Councillor Deatherley, thank you. Could we have a show of hands to indicate you're happy with those minutes? Thank you. Anybody against? Any abstentions? Thank you, Councillor Ball. Okay, so the next three items are licensing subcommittee minutes for approval. You'll see that we've got the names of the three councillors who attended each of those meetings. I was at all three of them, so I can propose each of those minutes as a true record, and then we'll need one of the other two who attended, please, to second it. If you're happy with the minutes, we'll take them one at a time. And then the voting can be everybody if you're happy, or just those three who attended. So the first one is the minutes of the licensing subcommittee 11th of July 2024 on pages 14 to 21. It was attended by myself, Councillor Bull and Councillor Hill. I'm happy that they're a record of the events of that day, so I'm happy to propose those minutes as correct. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. And so, okay, so we'll take a vote. All those in favour that they're a record of that meeting. Anybody against? Any abstentions? Thank you. 3. So the second of the licensing subcommittee minutes is the 17th of July 2024, pages 22 to 27. And at that meeting, it was myself, Councillor Dunlop and Councillor Townsend. So I will propose that they are a true record of that meeting. And could I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Townsend. And shall we take a vote? All those in favour? All those against? And any abstentions? Thank you. The third licensing subcommittee was held on the 22nd of July. That's on pages 28 to 33 in your restricted private agenda pack. Again, I was present for that, Councillor Redfern and Councillor Townsend. So again, I will propose those as a correct record of that meeting. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Redfern, thank you. And all those in favour of those as a true record? Thank you. Any against and any abstentions? Thank you. Chair's announcements. I'm sorry, I don't have any news or anything exciting to pass on. Declarations of interest. None, thank you. Okay, so item 8 of the agenda is the Environmental Health Regulated and Licensed Activities Performance Update, pages 34 to 57. And Councillor Sarah Hopewell, Executive Member for Wellbeing, will introduce the report.
Thank you, Chair. Many of the functions of the Council's environmental health team come within the Wellbeing portfolio, and I'm very happy, therefore, to be attending the Licensing Committee tonight with Paul Thomas-Jones, Service Manager for Environmental Health, as I'm aware that members of the committee have requested more information on the performance of the environmental health team on matters requiring a licence. Within the Council, environmental health covers a range of statutory public health functions, ranging from the air we breathe, the food we eat, and the water we drink, to to the wider impact of health derived from poor air quality and poor housing conditions. As explained within the report, the Council's constitution only affords the Licensing Committee oversight of the environmental health team's work on food hygiene. This, of course, is a key element of the team's work, and the report in front of members tonight covers performance on food matters in some detail. I do feel, however, that it is important for members of this committee to see the wider context in which the environmental health team operates, and so data on all licensing activity led by the environmental health is covered. Before inviting Paul to briefly talk members through the information in the report, I would like to highlight that despite the demands on the team, over the last 12 months, the environmental health team have been recognised externally for the quality of its working. In particular, they were noted for the Air Quality Action Plan, which has been recognised by the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs as an example of good practice, and is published on their website to help other councils develop their own approaches to improving air quality. And secondly, there's been the achievement of the Gold Level Paw Prints Award from the RSPCA for the quality of the team's animal welfare licensing activities. I'll now pass you over to Paul to speak on this report. Thank you.
Thank you. So as Councillor Hopewell just said, a large amount of or most of the functions undertaken by environmental health are public health functions. Food is just one part of those. So assuming that you've all read the report, I'm just going to sort of do a quick whistle-stop tour of some of the key points. So pages 35 to 36 set out the remainder of the functions that are undertaken, divided by the three teams: commercial, residential and environment within environmental health. On page, in the table on page 38, there's a summary of the main licenses that we undertake. And within that, we've included registrations, permits, as well as licenses, but refer to them collectively as licenses. I do note that the referencing has gone wrong somewhere. I think I've tried to be a bit too clever there and it's not worked somewhere along the line. But the details that it refers to are in pages 41 to 45. So hopefully you can link across. If not, let me know. I've also noticed this morning that we're missing private water supplies from there, which is something we also regulate. We have about 143 supplies there. The vast majority of those are to single dwellings, so single homes with one family in them. So for reasons already mentioned, the report focuses on the food safety side of things, with specific interest in the audit that was undertaken in February by the Food Standards Agency, and that all starts on page 39. So the council has around just over 1,600 food premises registered. This fluctuates almost on a daily basis as businesses close and new businesses register. The challenges that the team have faced with regards to recruitment and retention have impacted on performance. We do get agency staff in with any underspend, but obviously agency staff are more expensive and therefore we can't get as much from that underspend of money. This isn't anything different. You'll notice that the report referred to by the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health says this is a national issue. I am pleased to say, however, that our Senior Technical Officer Commercial has been filled and they'll be starting in November, which is a nice surprise for us after so many months of having it vacant. So the council, we've got limited resources, competing demands. We've tried to therefore focus our efforts on the higher risk activities. However, the Food Standards Agency felt back in February that this wasn't enough and we needed to do more. So they placed us on stage 1 of their performance improvement process. This led to the production of an action plan, which can be found on page 49, Appendix A. That action plan was signed off by the Chief Executive in March and agreed by the Food Standards Agency, who subsequently de-escalated the council in April. The action plan, you will note, has 21 actions, 12 of which have been completed, 8 are on track, and there's 1 that's been delayed, but that's largely around IT and doesn't actually impact on the delivery of the service. It's more the reporting side of it. Okay. Any questions, I guess?
Thank you. Yes, does any member wish to comment or ask questions? Councillor Townsend.
Just briefly demonstrating my ignorance, arrange for suitable Power B1 training.
Power BI training.
BI, okay.
yeah. So Power BI is a reporting tool which can link into the databases behind the scenes and allow us to extract all sorts of information. So our information system at the moment doesn't allow us to do reports. This connects to it and allows us to do those.
Thank you very much. And one other aspect of that, does that then sort of, is it a data mining tool that goes in and pulls out the various levels of stuff stored in different locations?
Yeah, so it allows us to sort of link from different modules, average inspection times, all that sort of data. It sounds pretty limitless as to what you can do. It's just getting that links behind the scenes correct.
Councillor Dunlop.
I don't want to get too specific about a particular issue that I have, but I noticed that within the environment team, asbestos work it comes within that. And I'm just wondering, to what extent can we hold the Environment Agency and the Health and Safety Executive to account whenever there are issues? In my constituency at the moment, there's one particular one that's very nasty, and I've had very little response from the Environmental Agency and from an Health and Safety Executive, despite this being an ongoing issue.
Okay, I don't think we can hold them to account. I think we can informally approach them and discuss that and raise it on a political level, but we don't have any formal powers over the Food Standards, HSE or Environment Agency at all. They would report directly to ministers.
And you say influence on a political level? Can you
Yeah,
fill in
so I
a bit
think as a
more of
council-
detail on what
as-
that is?
As a council, we could write to them, I guess, to say this is a problem to our residents, or I'm councillor, and you can raise it that way.
Done that already.
Yeah, that would be the only way, as far as I know. I can certainly have a look into it for you.
Okay, well, let's pick it up. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? I've got a couple. Just I'd like to say on the Air Quality Action Plan, to say congratulations to your team on that getting recognised, and also congratulations on the RSPCA Paw Prints Awards.
Thank you.
So it's good. I've just got a couple of questions. The overview of other activities regulated and licensed by Environmental Health which don't come within the licensing committee, where is the oversight for them, and who's the exec member responsible, please?
So the exec members are, you're testing me, I should have rehearsed this question. So Environmental Health is split between 3 portfolios. We have Councillor Hoskin, who deals with the air pollution side of things, and I forget where I think it's Councillor Granger.
That's a Glover Ward.
No, Myoni
Oh,
Goldspink, that's it. Who will deal with the housing side of
Right,
environmental health,
okay.
and then the rest is under Councillor Hopewell.
right. Okay.
So,
Thank
yeah.
you. And then I found this report really, really useful and informative, and I'm really pleased that it's come to the committee. So thank you. So what frequency would we expect to see further reports? I don't want to put you on the spot again, but and I don't want to say we'd like to see this every 6 months. I'd like to get your thoughts, really.
Yeah, I mean, we don't generally come to the licensing committee. It's usually reserved for other matters, so there is no precedent as to how frequently we would come. So I'm happy to leave that in your discretion. What I would say is we might want to fit it in with the action plan. So if we we could look at the dates as to when key actions are due and schedule after that to sort of make sure we're keeping on track with what's going on.
Okay, thank
That might be useful.
you. Councillor Townsend.
Yeah, just something I've just noticed, and I'm interested to see whether, is there some sort of exemption for campsites? Because I notice at page 45, item 5.31, council aims to undertake inspection of premises and issue a licence within 84 days of completed application. And it says the council currently has no licensed campsites. Now, obviously there are local campsites, but do they not need to be licensed, or they have a national exemption, or?
Yep. So there are exemptions within the legislation. So people like or organisations, I should say, like the Caravan and Camping Club, they are exempt from this because they have their own inspection regime and stuff that's recognised. People like the Scouts, Cubs, that sort of thing, that again would be exempt. There are also exemptions to do with the number of days over which it's run. So under, I can't remember off the top of my head, but under a certain number of days, they don't need a license. If they go over that, then they would need a license.
Thank you,
But
because
it's quite a substantial
that
number.
immediately covers 3 locations that popped into my head. So
Okay.
thank you very much.
That's Lamano.
Yes, thanks for the report. It was interesting. I was particularly concerned and had a few questions which you seem to have answered actually on the way through, particularly this one about the senior technical officer. Just why is it that there is a shortage of this kind of staff around the country, and is that being addressed nationally?
Yes, it is being looked at nationally through the LGA, I believe, are picking that up. Our own Chartered Institute of Environmental Health are looking at it as well. I don't know the reasons for it. I think there's speculation. There aren't as many people going on the courses. So I think there's only about 4 or 5 courses that are run across the country now, rather than of universities that run the courses. So the CIH are looking at expanding the qualifications. So in bygone eras, to be an environmental health officer, you would have to go down a very specific route. Now they're opening it up to different ways, including through apprenticeships, so that we can hopefully, as a profession, get more people on board with that. I think there are issues that in years gone by, we would have done a lot of promotion work, working with schools and stuff like that to sort of and I'm talking, 10, 15 years ago, we would have gone into schools, done promotion work and sort of, how wonderful environmental health is and sparked that interest. But a lot of people just don't know the career really, and it's that promotion is probably needed nationally as much as anything. So.
Sorry, I just want to ask one other question, which was, and you mentioned agency staff, of course, who presumably are at some sort of premium. Could you actually wholesale get a company into, if you like, privatise the function? Is that another way we could think about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So not so long ago, we went through an exercise like that. We had, I'm trying to recall now, gosh, I should have really rehearsed for this. We had a couple of options. One was to operate a shared service where we would go and join with another council, another local authority, run that service on behalf. We looked at whether we could get a reputable company in to do the inspections. When we run the figures, we were actually cheaper to do it ourselves than we were with the other company, largely because we will do everything that's required, but companies, their off-the-shelf package is to just do the main inspection, not to do the enforcement work after it and the follow-up work. So we would have had to have had a bespoke contract, which adds money on, which then takes it into a sort of more expensive realm than what we would offer if we were just doing it in-house.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. So there are 2 recommendations for this item, which are detailed on page 34 of the private agenda pack. The recommendations are for the licensing committee members to consider and scrutinise the performance of the environmental health with regards to regulated and licensed activities pertaining to food premises, and pass any comments to the executive member for wellbeing for consideration. And B, consider the performance of other activities regulated and licensed activities by environmental health, and pass any comments to the executive member for wellbeing or consideration. And I've just realised that we didn't have a proposal for this and a seconder. So, Councillor. So could I have a proposer for those? Thank you. Councillor Depley and a seconder? Councillor Townsend, thank you. So can we take that to a vote? All those in favour? Thank you. Any against? No, and no abstentions. Thank you, that's carried. So there are no urgent items, and so that concludes tonight's meeting at 7:20. Thank you very much.
Anyway.